What's up guys, it's me, Emily G, back at you again with a vlog video. I don't know if I'm even gonna put this out, to be honest. I just finished filming some other videos and I'm still in the mood to talk, and I'm trying to take advantage of my neighbor being quiet right now. So I thought, like, let's just film as much as I can, to be honest. I don't know that I'll ever put this out. Right now, it's February, almost Valentine's Day of 2026, and I don't know, we need to learn more about each other. You know what I mean? And I've done a lot of drama, hot topic social videos, but I don't do a lot of vlogs, mostly because, as you know, that I mentioned, I don't like editing them at all. And so I figured if we can just sit and hang out and talk here, almost like it's like a singular person podcast, maybe that'll be the style of vlog I do. I don't know. We'll see if I put it out there. But yeah, I just got home from work and filmed some videos, and it's windy outside and freezing. And this weekend is Valentine's Day, and I'm excited about my plans for Valentine's Day. I don't actually know what they are. Mike said he's surprising me, but I also requested details like what time is it? Do I have to drive? Like, I need to mentally prepare for these things. But like, the restaurant itself can be a surprise, you know what I mean? Although I do want to know what they have so I can choose what to eat. Although he did say he called the restaurant and was like looking at the dessert menu to make sure it's stuff that I like. Get you a Michael, but not mine. Anyways, yeah. I wanted to go over the history of my toes today, which is like, I hate to just like jump right into the topic, but I don't know how much more storage I got on Mike's phone. I actually film on Mike's phone, fun fact, because mine's terrible. So shout out, Mike. Love you. Anyways, that was for Michael, not you. Don't accept that kiss. Yeah, my toes are really bothering me right now, specifically one of them. And so I'm a little nervous for Valentine's Day, but I just hope that, like, because I have to walk to wherever we're going, I'm okay to walk. A few years ago, I was like fully normal as I can be. Nothing was wrong with my toes at that point too much. And then, like, out of the blue, I just started having a lot of like ingrowns. And I don't like, trigger warning, we're going to talk about medical stuff here. So if that bothers you, I totally get it. And this is probably not the video for you. You have been warned. I'm not going to show any pictures, but I am going to get a little graphic with it. And we will talk about like needles, surgery, things like that. Fair warning. I've got plenty of other videos you can check out. But yeah, a few years ago, I suddenly started getting like ingrowns really bad in my two big toes. And I don't know if it happened if I just bumped them every now and then. Can't imagine bumping them now today. It would be horrible. But yeah, I went to this doctor, and he was so nice. He was like a younger guy. And he seemed like he knew what he was doing. He was always very polite and like tried to explain stuff to me, which, like, I am a total hypochondriac, if you guys haven't figured that out yet. And when I'm at the doctor's, I need you to tell me everything you're doing all the time. Like, don't stop talking. Like, let me know what's going on, and I will feel much better. And I feel like that's pretty reasonable too. Like, why would you go there and just sit there and they're looking at you and doing stuff and they're quiet? Like, that's weird, you know what I mean? It's uncomfortable. And so, I don't know, he would like cut the nail to make sure that it was, it was good for the next however long. But then each time the nail would grow out, the same issue would happen where now there's a different cut in the nail, and every time it grows out, it's reaching a point where it then pushes against the skin, and then I have an ingrown. And so I don't know that it's not like a diagnosis, but what they're calling it is like a chronic injury, which would be like chronic ingrown nails in the same one toe recurring. And I actually have the perfect handy dandy craft to show you right now. This is on topic, I promise. But I've been making these little like yarns, kind of. My neighbor actually commissioned me to make some like yarn ornaments, yarn balls. These aren't quite finished yet, but I've been making them out of these toilet paper rolls, which I cut. And conveniently enough, this is actually a great way to describe this. But so when you see like a toenail on top of the actual toe, when you look at it from a certain angle, you can see that my nail actually like curves a little bit, not nearly this much, right? But a portion of my nail is curved. And so you only see the little top segment, but these side segments would be, deeper in the skin. And so it gets hard to cut a certain area. I feel like this is a great way to explain it to you. I hope you understand what I'm saying. But those parts of the nail that are deeper in the skin, you can't see them. And so when you go to cut them, it's uncomfortable. It's horribly uncomfortable and painful. And I don't know. It's just something about the curved nails. I guess I was just born with nails that are a little more curved than other people's, because this is not something everybody goes through, and there's no particular reason it happens to me. It's just my nails are a little more curved. Some people have very flat nails. So the big toes have gone through a lot, and I got this horrible surgery done with this first doctor I had, who, again, he was super nice, but he said, like, you're going to need surgery for this. We can do it in the office under like local anesthesia or whatever. Which isn't when they put you to sleep. That's the like the shots that they give you. And I don't know. I mean, I was glad that we figured out what was going on with it with the ingrowns, because before then I had what I guess the Minute Clinic had thought was like a perinechial infection, meaning like I guess it's something you get when, how I'll explain it is like I had my toe like red, bright red, and like super swollen and like hurt to the touch, like was very painful, and it just looked like it was going to like explode, and it was huge and it was horrible and everything hurt. I couldn't walk, and no one could figure out like why is it so red. Like we didn't know it was an ingrown nail because it was so exaggerated and horrible looking. Like it doesn't look like anyone just had like a little ungrown nail, you know? And so I guess some doctors that I saw at like the Minute Clinic, urgent care, things like that, thought it was some sort of infection from like either dust like getting stuck somewhere there near the nail, or like a little tiny hair or something falling and getting stuck, like a crumb even. But you know, your body's way of trying to push that out is to swell up. And so I don't know. That's what we thought it was. I had one doctor offer to like make an incision in the skin and like low-key like Victorian era bloodletting, like is what they wanted to do. And they were like, this will relieve some pressure. I was like, absolutely not. You are not gonna like cut me open. Not happening. Don't like needles. Don't mind blood. Don't like toes. Not happening. I joked when I went to the ER once that I would rather like lose this toe. And let me tell you, they did not think that was funny. But the one time I came back from the Minute Clinic, or I went there, they were like, yeah, like here's some antibiotics because we think it's an infection. I hope you guys find this interesting. It's really kind of boring. I'm sorry. Maybe you guys are doctors. Thank you for saving the world. And I went there and he was like, take some antibiotics and, you know, if it persists, come back in a week with a wooden toe. And I was like, oh, you are a jokester. He was like, I'm not kidding. And I was like, oh my God. So you can't joke in the medical field. They take everything very seriously, it feels like. But yeah, I ended up finding this doctor and it was great up until he wanted me to do this like in-office surgery where he was going to, trigger warning, we get very graphic here, so you've got about 3 seconds. I'll give you 1, 2, 2.5, Mississippi, 3. He wanted to like fully remove the entire nail, which I understand can be a more common than you think practice when it comes to ingrowns. Some do get so bad that they want to remove the entire nail because you have to get up towards the nail matrix, which is like, if this is my toe and the nail is down here, the nail matrix would be kind of at the base, not at the tip of the toe. It's where it grows out from, right? And so once you get up there, you get very sensitive, and then you can't be getting too close to up there. So you need to just have some anesthesia, have some painkillers, and like just remove the whole thing, right? And so I was like, absolutely not. And my doctor was like, listen, like, you can wait until it gets so bad that you go to the emergency room and you can see if they'll put you asleep. But like this is gonna be what happens, right? Is like, you're gonna get so desperate that like we're gonna remove it. But I think like it's so bad that's what's gonna happen. And it was on both toes, right? Or it was both big toes, now that I remember it, because it was a few years ago. I don't know how both happened at the same time, but it miraculously, not the word I would use, it was both big toes. And love my mom, but she was like, you're getting this done. Like we're gonna come back in a week if you want, or in a few days, like you're gonna have this done because I'm tired of you complaining about it, which is fair. So we went to his office. I took 3 Benadryl because apparently that's supposed to calm me down, and I was advised by a nurse, who I won't say who, that I should take 3 Benadryl to try to calm me down and make me a little drowsy, and I can have that with, the local anesthesia, and it'll just help. Turns out, Benadryl does nothing for me, which we'll find is a common theme in this story. I hope the camera's still recording. Let me check. All right, the camera's still recording. I had to check. Yeah, it turns out Benadryl does nothing for me. And so I was actually more anxious than I was before, which I understand also. Benadryl can work the other way around, where you get super more anxious if certain things, certain conditions, whatever. But it did not work. I was wide awake. He gave me the surgery, and I don't like to think about it because I'm like, okay, now that it's been a few years. But for the longest time after the surgery, like I would wake up in the middle of the night, like screaming, because I could feel like these needles going into my toes. And again, if you don't like needles, this is not the story for you. So you got 3 seconds. 1, 2, Mississippi, love you. 3. They're not like regular needles, like how you get a vaccine. It's like, they call it like a gorilla needle, I guess, to the layman. It's like, it splits open a nerve and like puts the anesthesia inside the nerve to like, I guess, extra make you not feel it. I felt it, right? Needless to say. And first we did one leg, and I could not even like stay like still enough in his office. Like, he said at one point, and he got a little angry, and I was like, listen, like, I'm trying, buddy. But like at this point I was like inconsolably sobbing. And it's not like I'm strapped down or nothing. Like, so my natural reaction is to move my leg, and I could not stop shaking from freaking out and like pain. And he was like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I can't do what I need to do if you're gonna move and shake. And I was like, I understand. Give me something for the shaking. I'm not doing it on purpose. And looking back, I am really mad about him. I think it's just that he was a younger guy and he was newer to being a doctor than most other people. But like, bro didn't understand the concept of like anxiety, pain. Like, wow, that's amazing. Yeah. So I don't know. He gave me this. Sorry, the neighbor cat just started meowing. Deborah, love Deborah. Shout out Deborah. You're a subscriber, I know you are. I don't know. For the longest time, I could feel the surgery happening when it wasn't happening. And I don't know. It was just terrible. It was so painful. And imagine like the worst pain you've been in like the weirdest part of your body. Not the weirdest, but like the toe. Like, think of like getting surgery done on your toe while you're fully awake. And I was fully awake. And in fact, I was so fully awake that any of the numbing stuff he gave me did not work, which we later find out I don't have an allergy to, but it's completely ineffective on me. And I made that pretty clear through screaming and crying and sobbing and saying, hey, please stop. I can feel everything you're doing. Hey, I'm gonna move. I can feel everything you're doing. Hey, help, stop, give me something, give me painkillers. And like, message did not get received from bro. Like, he did not understand the concept of, this isn't working on her. And we let like the anesthesia, or like I think it was lidocaine, one of the canes, lidocaine, he let that sit for a little while, for like 30 minutes, and then went back to like human torture. And I was like, okay, so imagine like the worst painful ordeal you've been through, and then be like, all right, next toe. And it's like, well, I can't leave. Like, I've got to do the other one while I'm here, like, because I'll have to come back and get the same thing done. And so he gave me more shots in the next toe, and then we let it sit for a little longer to hopefully kick in, which it did not kick in. And I remember he said like during my sobbing, first of all, worst bedside manner, because like this guy like did not give a singular flying fuck that I was upset. And my mom was there too, and she like doesn't remember any of this, which also pisses me off. Love you, Mom. Moms be like that sometimes. I remember he said like, I'm gonna let that stuff kick in. Hopefully you won't be able to feel it. Like, I'm gonna let it kick in for a little bit. I'm gonna go over to my next patient next door. I should be back in about a half hour, and then we can start, you know? And I was like, okay, like, and so this was a very small practice and a super small building, which I don't think exists anymore. Old building built in the 70s, I guess, or at least still decorated like the 70s. And I could hear everything this guy was saying right through this like thin wooden cardboard wall. But he was talking to this other patient, and this made me livid because here I am, like, sobbing and crying after getting these needles and doing one of these surgeries. And I remember, like, being so livid because I heard him talking to this patient next door so calmly and friendly and being like, all I could hear was his voice, but he was like, yeah, definitely. Like, and you got to speak up when something hurts because pain is like a signal. It's like a fire alarm and it tells us when something is wrong. And so if you're in pain, that means something isn't right. Something's going on. Something is wrong, messed up that we need to address. And there's ways we can fix that. But the first step that you must take is to let that person or let your doctor or me know. And I was like in the other room, first of all, still shaking and crying and screaming because everything hurt so bad. But I was like, are we serious? Like, why do you like them better? Like, what did I do to you personally? Like, did I kill your firstborn son? Like, to be honest. So he came back, and I mean, I already did not like this guy because he was causing me so much pain. But he started working, and it was just as bad as the first one, because lidocaine doesn't work on me, fun fact, not so fun. And I remember, like, he was doing what he was doing, and I, like, was saying through, like, my sobbing tears, I was like, and I repeated exactly what he said, and he hated it, but I said, pain is a fire alarm. Like, imagine, like, sobbing, crying me. I was like, pain is a fire alarm. It means something's wrong. I can feel everything. Like, please, like, do something. Like, there's got to be something you can give me. Because at this point, it wasn't a matter of stopping the surgery. It's like, you can stop, but, like, I can feel that there's something missing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so sorry if you guys are, like, squeamish. Like, this has definitely put a little thicker skin on me in terms of talking about things, but, like, God, it was just impossible to handle. And this is not where the saga ends. Like, I left. It was horrible. It was terrible for, like, weeks. I can't remember if I was still in school or if I took off. Like, it's all kind of a blur because it was so long ago. And with COVID, like, I have trouble remembering things from years ago. But I remember not too long after that, the nails come back in slowly. And I ended up having the same problem. And I don't blame him personally because I did look up some of the stats about it. And it's only successful, like, I think it was 30 to 60% of the time. Like, it seems like a lot of people will need a repeat surgery with this, removing the nail once in their life at least. And so I ended up finding a different doctor because after that, I think I never saw him again because I was like, you really did not listen to me. I was voicing my concerns as a patient. I have rights, and, like, you really didn't hear me at all when I said I was in pain. And I understand it's a painful surgery and I'm a bit of a baby. But, like, when I tell you, like, I can feel everything and you're like, all right, let's get to work. I'm like, well, hold on. Like, are you like that's a red flag. Like, you must be a sadist. And so I went to a new doctor near me after I moved, and I was like, hey, I remember being so nervous for the first appointment, but I said, hey, I had this doctor, I had this surgery, like, look at my charts. I felt everything. He did it in office. And I remember arguing with him too and being like, is there any way you can do this while I'm asleep? And it wasn't something that he could control. If I wanted him to be the doctor, he did not have, I guess, the licensing he needed to go into a hospital and do it while I was asleep. And he also didn't have, like, the rights or way to get someone there to put me asleep in the office. Like, there was some sort of legal something about it, which wasn't him being, like, a bad doctor. It's just, like, he didn't get a certificate in something that wasn't required of him. It's just a nice extra thing for you to have. But he also at the same time didn't refer me to anyone else. And I remember asking, hey, can you refer me to someone who can put me asleep for this surgery? And he's like, I don't really know anybody. And looking back, like, I wish I would have known to say something. I guess it's just I was, like, younger at the time, but, like, looking back, if you go to a doctor and you ask them to refer you to somebody and they say they don't know anyone else, you're either in the best hands possible, you're at the top of the pyramid and they know everything, or, like, they haven't been in the game long enough to know someone and it's a little bit of a red flag, and you should find someone who can refer you and help you out and know things and have experience, which this guy did not. So I found a new doctor near me, who was also a little younger, but she is super great, and I said, like, I explained all my problems, like, I can feel everything. And she goes, and hopefully this story helps you. If nothing else, I pray you listen to this part. She says, as we're sitting there, and I'm like telling her, like, I have this problem with my toe. I'm gonna need another surgery soon. Like it's starting to bother me again. This was years later. I had this first thing done, and he gave me, I think I got 4 shots in each toe, like while I was awake, 4 shots of lidocaine, and like not all at once, like spread throughout. And I said, like, I could feel everything the entire time, like nothing let up. It was lidocaine. She said, do you have any redheads in your family? And I said, huh? And she said, redheads, are you related to any redheads by blood? And I said, yeah, that's so weird. My cousin's a redhead, my brother's a redhead, my grandpa was a redhead. My mom was born with red hair. She doesn't have red hair anymore. She's a brunette now. So it's not like anything crazy. But I was like, yeah, like I have redheads like in each like generational tier. And she was like, okay, so listen, so lidocaine doesn't work on you. There's this new thing. And I was like, listen, I'm all for it, right? It's in my favor. But she explained that like there's a newer belief in the medical field going around. I don't know if it was recent research or old research that people dug up, or if there's been a lot of testing or a little testing, but some doctors believe out there that if you have redheads, there's a gene that redheaded people carry or can carry, that just renders you ineffective against certain anesthesias, medicines, or like lidocaine, novocaine, some canes, right? And I like was looking back on this and I'm like, wow, like going to the dentist as a kid with like novocaine for like getting your tooth removed, like I could feel all of that too. Like, and everyone just thought I was being a baby. And I get it. I'm a little bit of a baby, but like I need to stand up for myself here. I was not being that much of a baby. Like, really none of this worked. And I knew none of it worked, but no one took me seriously. And looking back, I'm like, huh, you know what? My sister, like, also has the same thing. My brother, ironically, as the redhead, maybe not so much. Or I just, like, I don't know, like, maybe it doesn't bother him enough. I don't know. But a lot of us in the family, you know, the family with redheads, like, really have a hard time being numbed up with all this stuff. And she was like, yeah, it's newer. I'll mark it in your chart, which is like, oh, like that's what I wanted to hear. Thank you. And she's like, yeah, listen, like I have the licensing. We can do this in the hospital. Like, you know, here's all your scripts for blood work. Like get everything tested. And like, we'll do this while you're under. I will make sure that everything works. And she like went through and took her time explaining like she had backups on backups. And even though I was asleep, like I would not feel a thing. Which is like a deep fear of mine that like, I know people have a horrible phobia sometimes of like being put to sleep, whether or not they think they're not gonna wake up or something terrible is gonna go wrong. I'm like, you know, it's a little startling like at first, but like then you're asleep. Like to me, I don't have a problem with it anymore. I had to be put to sleep when I was younger for something, like a colonoscopy or something. You're getting my whole medical history. Anyways. And it bothered me then, doesn't bother me so much now, but like the part that bothers me is like, God, like what if I'm asleep and I can feel it, or like I wake up, you know what I mean? And she was great. I actually had a super vivid dream during the surgery, which like I've heard that if you take melatonin regularly, you get really vivid dreams. I feel like I've always had vivid dreams, and I could even tell you right now, I was at my one job and my boss came over and she asked me to like fold these gray sweatshirts, and I was like clearly pretty peeved about it. And there was a Beyonce song playing in the back. And in fact, like after like the surgery, when I went in for my checkup, I was like, were you playing Beyonce during the surgery? And she was like, it's very possible, like we were playing music during it. And I was like, oh my God. But I don't remember waking up or anything, which is great. Yeah, love that. That's wonderful. But it was still hard afterwards. It was still hard. And I lived in a house at the time, like I sublet an apartment or like a room in an apartment, and I was on the top floor with no elevator, and the bathroom and sink were on a different floor than I was. Like it was an unfortunate situation and mix of events and how things were. And I'm so grateful that I had Mike to take care of me. I don't know what I would have done. But even so, it was just so tough because like I don't handle pain very well and I was in a lot of pain. And the only criticism that I feel like I really had was like I know there's rules about what they can give you. You know what I mean? When I tell you they gave me that, like, it starts with an F, I probably have to bleep that out. But like a certain commonly known street drug that starts with an F, street UGG. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to bleep all this out. They gave me that right after surgery when I was in the hospital. I didn't feel a thing. I walked out of there with like some crutches and some fancy boots on. Like, I walked out of there. I was like, yes, like I can run a mile. Like, that stuff wore off pretty quickly, and it was really rough. And they said like take some extra strength Tylenol, and I was like, no, like that's not helping. Like, and I took it. I like didn't sleep. Like, have you ever had a surgery where you like you can't sleep? Like you can't and you're awake for days. That's what this was. You sleep periodically for like a few minutes here and there, but like it was just so painful. And I think on night 4, and there's actually a vlog of this that I have not posted. I have clips of me just crying into the camera in my old apartment being like, hey guys, I don't know if I'm gonna put this out, but I thought I'd film a vlog because one day you guys might need this and it would help you. But I remember day 4, I think I woke Michael up at 5 a.m. because I had not fallen asleep and I really hadn't gotten much sleep since I had gotten home from the hospital. And I said, the pain's not staying the same. It's like actually getting worse. Something is wrong, right? I get it, like taking a long time to taper off. We're going up. It's getting worse. I don't know what to do. I'm panicking. And I get it. Pain gets worse when you panic. But it was just so bad. I was shaking. I couldn't do anything. And he said, why don't you call the on-call doctor? And so I called because I gave up. I gave up. I didn't know what to do. And at 5 a.m., a doctor who wasn't mine, who was just at the same practice, but she was available. She said, how far are you? I think maybe your bandages are too tight and you're starting to swell, and that's why everything hurts. So at 5 a.m., I meet her out back, the practice, and we went in and she opens up the place and she gets all sterile, puts everything on, and it was really bad because I was awake for it, right? The taking off the band-aids, but there were, and I know it sounds stupid, right? But they weren't like band-aids, like my thumb here. Like it was like all kinds of wraps and gauze, and there were stitches, and I couldn't look. So, and I'm like actually shaking now because I'm still bothered by all of this, unfortunately. But I want to talk to you guys because I learned a lot from this journey, and we'll sum it up at the end here. I hope this is still recording. It was bad, but she fixed it, and you know what? That ended up being the problem. Was that like towards the end, like I started to swell for some reason, and that went away, but the bandages were just a little too tight, and so she loosened them, and oh my god, I felt so much better. I think, I can't remember quite, but I think I did fall asleep finally for like the first time in a while pretty quickly after that, which was great. And yeah, I don't know, it was just a very slow recovery, and I'm like the kind of person physically who takes a long time to recover from stuff. Just longer for everything, honestly. Like, I got my wisdom teeth out. Now, this wisdom teeth dentist, doctor, surgeon person, I was asleep for that. Because Novocaine doesn't work on me. She said, like, oh, like, I said, I was in school at the time, finishing up my senior year, and I took a trombone class, of all things, because I just needed some more credits. And I remember her saying, like, oh, you have a final, like that week? And I was like, yeah, like, do you think I'll be good? She was like, oh yeah, you should be able to play the trombone the next day. Huh? First of all, I knew you were wrong right then. But second of all, you were wrong the whole entire time. Because I don't think I could play for another 2 weeks. I couldn't eat or like drink water for like 3 days. Like, it's a miracle I didn't like unsubscribe. You know what I mean? Like, not like self-unsubscribe, but like I could not drink water. I couldn't eat. I remember it was so bad because it was longer than it should have been. And it was so bad. And again, love Michael. I had Michael call. And I was writing everything down. I said, Michael, you have to call. Like, I can't. It hurts to swallow my own spit. Like, please help. And he calls the doctor and puts her on speaker. Or the dentist or surgeon or whatever. And she's like, well, is Emily there? Like, let me talk to Emily. And I was like, And she's like, hello? And I was like, huh? Like, but it hurt, you know what I mean? Like, oh, sorry, Cougar. But like, my live studio audience here. But like, I don't know. I don't know. Some people just don't get it. Maybe it's bedside manner. Maybe I'm difficult. I don't know. That was crazy. But the toes still go on a little bit here and there. They're definitely way better than what they used to be. And I feel like I've personally grown a lot from all of this, which again, wouldn't wish it on anybody. I wouldn't want to be like, oh, I'm a stronger person. I'm so thankful. Actually, would have liked if none of this ever happened. Thank you. But I did learn a lot of lessons about self-advocacy in the medical field, getting over mental bumps and anxiety when it comes to like freaking out about something medical. Like right now, my toe is a small toe, because I kind of have the same thing on some of these smaller toes. I'm experiencing some swelling and redness. And after all of this happened, like anytime I would look like at my fingers or my freckles or my feet or wherever, and it wouldn't be like, it would be a slightly different color, or there'd be like a little bump, I'd be like, oh my God, it's the end of my world. Like I tend to be an extremist in the sense of like, oh, like something's red, I'm going to lose that toe. You know what I mean? And so I'm learning slowly to like take it a little slower. And I have myself, what do they call it? Those things that you say to yourself in the mirror. I forget the word for it. Affirmations. Thank you. Thank you. Affirmations. I have my affirmations, which I didn't believe in before. But the more you say them, the more I guess you do believe in them, where I'm like, listen, like, I'm not a doctor. I will not self-diagnose myself anymore. Like, there are clearly so many things that I think are wrong with me, and then I go to the doctor, and it ends up being something that I could not even imagined it would be, and it's fine. Or with the toes specifically, like this one right now, like, it's bothering me. There has been at least one case where one of these have gone away. And so I can wait a little bit. And even though it's an injury, maybe it acts like a sickness, right? All I need is a little bit of time and some tender love and care, and it'll go away. Not everything ends up being like a life or death, lose the toe surgery. You know what I mean? So I'm trying, I'm practicing. And if you're out there struggling with something similar or just anything medical, I am in your corner so hard, and I hope you are doing unparashosely. I really hope that you figure out how to get along with yourself and like live regardless of what's going on. You know what I mean? Because like it's just like I had this mentality of like anything could go wrong at any point. I could bump into something, like it hurts to walk. Like I always thought I was in pain, and I think I was scared and making myself in pain. I'm like, you know what? That's fine. I can be in a little bit of pain. I can handle some pain. I can go to work, and the adrenaline of the day will help me get through it. And then when I come down and come back, I'll take care of myself. And I don't know, I just was like, I can't walk. Like I can't walk, something will go wrong, it'll hurt. I'm like, girl, be in a little bit of pain. Like go out to dinner. Be in a little bit, it'll go away. You know what I mean? Like pain is consistent in that you will often be in pain through life, but it'll go away. You know what I mean? You can deal with it. And I feel like I'm very proud of myself for dealing with it. And I don't want to get emotional. That would be really unfortunate. But I'm very proud of myself for figuring out how to get along and not freak myself out all the time, because I freak myself out a lot. You know what I mean? And so I'm just like, I don't know. I'll probably go do a toe soak. And even if it looks a little funny, that's fine. The body is not symmetrical. At my age, at 25, right, I'm not like an infant here. Like, we ain't squishy and pink and perfect. You know what I mean? So my hand is bigger than this hand. My right hand's bigger than my left hand, right? I don't know. It's just a lot of things that I have to keep telling myself. And hopefully it'll make it better. And one day I'll look at this and laugh with my wooden toe. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I wanted to talk about it. And I'm always talking about my toes on my channel. And I'm like, you guys should know there's some deep lore here. Maybe it's not as deep as everybody thinks. But like the second like something goes wrong, I'm like, oh God, I just panic. You know what I mean? Because I dealt with it. I dealt with it for years, and waking up in the middle of the night feeling needles that weren't there and feeling pain that wasn't there. And every time I look down, I'm like, that's not my toe. Like, that doesn't look like my toe anymore. You know what I mean? And so, and you're not getting these toe pics. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's an audience for everything. Not for these. There's not. These are not going on an OnlyFans. These are not going on a Patreon or YouTube or whatever. In fact, I don't even have a foot. It's just one big toe. Yeah. Anyways, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I don't even know if I'm going to put this out. I don't know if I'll put it out now or when I like need more content, but it's February and hopefully by now it's warm outside. So, and if you have toe problems, a nice like rinse, like cold water rinse at the end of the day, like with the summer heat. Oh, it's heavenly. So, we didn't ask for any of this, but it happens and we have to take care of ourselves. So, I am rooting for you. Try to live even though you're in pain, because you get to choose one of those. You know what I mean? If you want the pain to be so bad that you can't do anything, then you're just going to be in pain. So why not live and be in pain? Do the fun things you want to do. And hopefully everything gets better. So, yeah. Anyways, I don't want to get so personal. We don't know each other. I hate to end it with that. I hope you're doing well. I don't mean to get so deep. Not all these videos are going to be like that. Let me know if you have any more vlog topics you want. And, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully now all my coworkers understand why my toes hurt and I freak out so much. It's because, like, I don't handle pain well. And being in pain is tough. And it makes people angry. And I hope I haven't been mean or angry to anyone because I was in pain. But pain changes people, man. It's rough, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. Try not to hold it against us. You know what I mean? Everybody's got pain. But that also doesn't minimize each individual's pain. Girl, I sound like a cereal box. I'm gonna leave. All right, have a good one. Bye.